This will be fairly visual, so if you're brave enough to come a little bit closer, you might appreciate some of the imagery that is up here. Yeah, I had a severe allergic reaction earlier on the week, and the immunologist who resuscitated me did all the tests, and he said, "Ken, never, never, never go to Japan in cherry blossom season again." All right, so I will do my best. I was meant to be doing some laser-guided tours of the night sky last night and tonight. We do have a plan B, which will be that we meet at 7:45 outside the crafty tent tonight. If the clouds are still up, then I've got an alternate thing we can actually do at the crafty tent. It's actually an exercise or a talk, an interactive talk I give mainly to 8 to 14-year-olds on the weird and wonderful and quirky things of our solar system. It includes actually making your own scale model of the solar system, which you can actually put in your pocket at the end of the talk. All the stuff's, it will be supplied. We trialled it last night. I got a 5-star review from both the people who turned up. But if you want to join us at 7:45, if the skies are clear, we'll go up the hilltop with the lasers. If it's not, we've got plan B. So, who here actually is aware of light pollution as a major ecological problem? Wow, I've never been to a crowd that is that aware of it. That is fantastic. 10 years ago, I didn't know it was a thing. Tomorrow I'm actually talking at the Hinterland Writers' Festival, and they've asked me to do a 10-minute short story which basically tells of my journey from being a military trauma specialist to what I am now, which is trying to minimise light pollution in Australia. It got me awarded the International Dark Sky Defender of 2024. Out of 193,000 people in Dark Sky International, I was the one who got the award. Thank you. So I'm actually going to present that 10-minute presentation now to you. Then I'm going to spend about 8 to 10 minutes actually training you to be experts in dark sky outdoor lighting, which is so easy, but it is so beneficial to our environment. I will then tell you about the survey we actually did last night of Woodford to assess what it is like in terms of dark sky compliant or otherwise. And finally, give you the message on how you can take this home to wherever you live and try and spread the word about light pollution, the simple things you can do to actually make it better. This is actually done on behalf of an organisation I co-founded back in 2019, the Australasian Dark Sky Alliance. We are a voluntary organisation, but we have become the primary light pollution advisory body to all levels of government in Australia. So I'd like to acknowledge the First Peoples of Australia as the world's first astronomers, by tens of thousands of years actually. The Gubbi Gubbi and the Jinnaburra people as the traditional owners of these lands and the custodians of the skies where we meet, and my desire to help them safeguard their connections with those. So I cannot remember the last time that I was actually afraid of the dark. It was so long ago and I was so young. I've always been comfortable in the dark, under the night sky. Telescopes and astronomy have been in my family for over 150 years. My great-grandfather's farm was in central New South Wales, and he used to set his pocket watch by looking through his astronomical telescope at the Corindai town clock. By day, I can only see a tiny section of the solar system, just one star, the sun. But at night, under a night sky, free of light pollution, I could see thousands of them. I could see the entire universe through that clear window of an unpolluted night sky. I knew their names, I knew their patterns. They were constant and familiar companions to me. As I grew bigger, so did my telescopes. With my first telescope, I could only see the moon. Now my telescopes are big enough to actually see other galaxies. And my clever mates with their cameras reveal even more. This actually is a picture my mate Dean took from Malini and is the 2025 Queensland Astrophotograph of the Year. By day, light reveals beauty and wonder, but all other senses come second. At night, the playing field with our senses is levelled. In the army, I was taught to use my other senses to survive at night till night vision kicked in. The rustle of a leaf, the snap of a twig, the smell of cooking or cigarettes. So now at night in the valley to our west, as well as enjoying what I see, I tune in to the sound of wind in the trees, water gurgling in the river, smells of eucalyptus and the caress of a chill breeze. 10 years ago, I thought that everybody could experience the night sky just like me. And it was on my second trip down the Grand Canyon in Arizona, I realised how wrong I was. Like my first trip, it was me, one other Australian, and everybody else was from Florida. Why Florida, I thought. And I was about to find out why. On the first night around the campfire, it came out that I knew the stars, and everyone begged me to show them. Having experienced just this request before, I'd come equipped, complete with a laser. So I pointed out the stars, the constellations and the planets. And this lady you see here, who was on my particular raft for the entire trip, started to cry. Fearing I'd said something offensive, I stopped and asked her if she was okay and had I said something wrong. And her answer is burned in my brain. She replied, "I'm 42. This is the second night in my life I've ever seen a star." She continued, "I live in Florida, and for all my life, to me, the night sky has always been a featureless, blank orange dome." She told me the first time I saw stars was when I was 35. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was driving along the freeway to my mother's place to keep her company in the middle of Hurricane Katrina. Suddenly, the entire Florida electricity grid failed in the hurricane, and in an instant, there they were. The stars, the planets, she said, even the Milky Way instantly popped into existence. I stopped my car in the middle of the freeway and got out. Fortunately, everybody else did exactly the same thing. For 20 minutes, like everyone else, I marvelled at what I could see. Then the grid reset and the orange dome returned. She told me since then I have searched for the best place to see stars in the USA, and that's why I'm down here in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Everybody said, yes, that's the reason we're here. We think the Grand Canyon's okay. I think it's awesome. But compared to seeing stars, it is nothing. It's the stars that we come for. And she concluded by saying, we took the night sky for granted and we lost it. When I got home, I looked up the new Light Pollution Atlas, and that showed that the eastern USA is terminally night polluted. But they are not alone. With Great Britain, Europe, Japan, South Korea, not North Korea, and China, all terminally light polluted. Australia looks better, but then when you think about where we actually live in Australia, you can see that light pollution is rife here too. Globally, 90% of the world's population actually lives under light polluted skies. And it's not just our view of the stars that's affected. Wildlife suffers greatly from light pollution. Hundreds of species of animals and plants have been driven to the brink of extinction due to excessive use of light at night. So once I realised this, I went back to university and I did my postgrad in lighting physics and astronomy. And then co-founded the Australasian Dark Sky Alliance, which has been a fantastic success. Now, the lighting industry tells us that bright is beautiful and the dark is dangerous, but there is copious science that says otherwise. Excessive lighting does nothing to increase our personal safety in outdoor places. Brighter headlights have not decreased motor vehicle accidents, and thousands of scientific papers describe the mechanisms how excessive light at night shortens our lifespan by up to 5 years. We do not need to live in the gloom. We just need to curb the unnecessary and excessive lighting. And so sometimes I ponder this question. In my years under dark skies, I have never been attacked, apart from a black bull who once came up to my telescope and obviously wanted to look through the eyepiece. And then there was that owl that thought my fuzzy hair would be great in its nest. So over the last 8 years, I've been working with the Sunshine Coast to try and establish a dark sky reserve in the hinterland just north of here. It's 900 square kilometres, and it's a pledge to good stewardship of the night. And I'm delighted to announce that as of last month, it exists. All the street lighting in there is now compliant. We changed out all the street lighting in the Obi Valley last year, 250 street lights. All the government buildings in Maleny are being converted over to dark sky compatible lights, and the council has its own lighting management plan, which means that it can only use dark sky lighting in outdoor regions within the reserve. All new commercial buildings will have to comply with this lighting management plan, and we will be recommending to all private people that they also comply with the plan with their own lighting in their own buildings. We're now seeking formal recognition from Dark Sky International to make it an internationally acclaimed dark sky reserve, and we are hoping that we will get that as a nod in the next 2 months. So let's journey 20 years into the future. Imagine if we had done nothing and just continued to take the night sky for granted. It's 2046 and we are standing in the middle of the Obi Valley, 20 kilometres north of here, looking south. We're eagerly anticipating an evening under the stars. We should be able to see over 2,000 stars. We should also be able to watch the core of the Milky Way, our home galaxy, rise, and within that, the image of the dark emu. But night never comes. Yes, there are a few stars to look at if we really look hard, but the lights of the coast and of Brisbane basically have destroyed the night. At this stage, Brisbane is the most light-polluted city in the Southern Hemisphere. We've lost our stars, we've lost our heritage, and we have little reason to look up anymore. But what if right now we get behind the dark sky reserve concept and we apply these simple rules and spread the word out across all of southeast Queensland and even further? And we all learn to use outdoor lighting responsibly rather than excessively. We all do our bit and we create a dark sky reserve that is largely free of light pollution. This preservation will lead to inspiration for all of those who witness the true dark sky and the Milky Way, which unfortunately, I wish this was nighttime and you could see it so much better. Okay? The idea of inspiration is for it to lead to education of all who witness the true dark, and that everybody can leave with 2 simple rules in their mind. Only point lights where you need them, and only turn them on when you need them, because every day deserves a night. So that is my short story of what is happening. What I'd like to go into now is actually what you can learn to do wherever you live, okay? Because we all need to play our part. The problem with a badly designed outdoor light is that it affects the sky for 300 kilometres in every direction. So, for example, our dark sky reserve is under threat from Brisbane, okay? The Siding Springs Observatory, the National Observatory, is 400 kilometres from Sydney, but still gets some night glow on the horizon from Sydney lights. And it's easy to fix, so I'm about to make you all experts. There are really only three things you need to know. First of all, outdoor lights should be shielded so that nothing goes at horizontal or above horizontal. So you can see the ball light is what is very bad. We actually have a ban the ball light exercise occurring across all of Sunshine Coast region at the moment. Up is bad, even horizontal is bad because that still spreads out for that 300 kilometres. What you need is lights that actually are at least 10 degrees below horizontal. What we call fully shielded lights. So the ball light is out, the downlights are in. And after all, what you were trying to light in this situation is the footpath. You're not trying to shine light into your own eyes. That just makes you blind to what's happening. So it's good for the environment and it actually is functionally better. You can see it here. There's this light glaring into your eyes. You have no idea what that purpose of the light is, and it's going out of the environment. If you put a shield on there, you take the glare out of your eyes, you're not spewing photons out in the environment, and you can finally see the staircase that you're actually trying to walk down. So that's shielding. The next thing is to use warm colours. It's the blue and the green of the spectrum of white light that causes all the damage because it spreads through the atmosphere. Unlike orange light, which will pass straight through it without causing light pollution. Furthermore, our eyes are designed to work best at night in orange light. We are attuned to the colour of campfire light so that we can actually see best in orange and we can see into the dark because we don't lose our night vision in orange. If you're looking on the side of the label, you're looking for warm white or a 2,200 to 3,000 Kelvin rating. Nothing above 3,000 outdoors. And common sense. Dim it, add a motion sensor, or just turn it off, okay? If you have garden lights that burn all night, what's the point? If nobody's there to see it or appreciate it, it serves no purpose, okay? Constant bright lights do not decrease crime, whereas motion sensors do. Okay, so here's the quiz to see if you've learned anything. Is this good lighting or bad lighting? It's good, all right? It's nice warm white. It's down there. There's nothing going up there. It's actually solar powered, so there's no electricity involved. And as the electricity runs out after a couple of hours, they dim themselves when everybody's gone to bed. That's the lighting around the swimming pool at my high-rise unit. Good or bad lighting? Bad. Festoon lighting. It goes up into the sky. It goes into the neighbour's bedroom. It goes into the trees where the birds are trying to sleep. Festoon lighting is bad. What about this? Crazy, all right? I know it all looks nice and arty-farty, but that light would be straight into your eyes, so you would be night blind. I think you would have trouble walking along these steps in the daytime, but at night time it would be just about impossible. And it's going up into the environment. Good or bad? Yeah, good. The target here is to illuminate the steps so you can safely walk up and down them. And that's where the light's going, and it's being kept to there. Similarly, you can see that garden light over in the left, which is at least 10 degrees below horizontal. Good? Bad? That's the answer. Yeah, it could be some good, some good. It is fully shielded. That's great. It's probably warm white lighting, but is it necessary? If it doesn't have switching to turn it off when you don't need it, it can be a problem, particularly in your garden. It will basically put a light barrier which will stop most animals from crossing that barrier. And a lot of our plants here are pollinated at night, so minimising garden lighting actually is good for the health of your garden. So if it serves a purpose, fine. When it's finished serving its purpose, you need to be able to turn it off. What about this place? Does it look familiar? You should know where this place is. We're right in the middle of it at the moment. This is the front of the brochure from last year. Not a great advertisement for Woodford. And you can see how it's disrupting all the butterflies, which should be asleep at night. All right? So, maybe that's not what we want at Woodford. So last night I went round with the manager and we actually did a survey of the lights here. We spent an hour driving around looking for the good lights, the bad lights. And it's a bit of a mixture here, but actually I think a lot of it's reasonably good. The uplights into the trees, not fantastic. It would be great if we could put the lights in the top of the trees to come down, but logistically that may not be possible. If we are going to use uplights, we need to use the orange, not the bright white. So there's some room for improvement there. Okay. A lot of the lights in some of the places around here tonight, you will see actually use orange. The tea house over here is a great example where they've used orange light. And once you get there for about a minute or so and your eyes adjust to it, the lighting is fantastic and you can see into shadows much better under orange light than you can under blue rich light. We looked at the toilet blocks, some of the fluoro lighting or the LED lighting, which is very blue rich, and we can certainly see there are points for improvement. We're probably going to look at adjusting some of the car park lights down the end because they're tilted up. They need to be down so that nothing is going above horizontal. But generally it is pretty good what we're doing here, and because they're not on all the time, Woodford is not a big contributor to light pollution in southeast Queensland. Okay, so what can you do? This sounds great for somebody else to do, but can you do anything about it? Well, I'd like to tell you about Dark Sky International. It has a thing called the Dark Sky Buildings Program, where if you actually go through the effort of making sure your lights are compliant, you can apply online. It's totally free. Put your hand over your heart and say, yes, this is what I've done. Here's a few pictures to prove it. And they will give you a certificate which you can put on the wall and brag to all your neighbours about that you've done your bit. I live in an 11-storey high-rise in the middle of Maroochydore, and it is actually the first Dark Sky certified building in Australia. So you couldn't have been worse in kind of the design of the lights. So I was given a $30,000 budget to change it, to get rid of the unshielded lights, the blue rich lights, and redesign it all. We did that, and everything became Dark Sky compliant. And me being me and me being thorough, thought I'd better prove it. So I got a helicopter to go over the top of Maroochydore at night and take a photograph to see what we could see. So here's kind of Sunshine Plaza and their rooftop car park here. There's tennis courts, the big top shopping centre. That black spot you see up the top there, that's my building from the air. It basically has probably less than 2% of the light pollution that it had before we did that. The good thing was that we got rid of a lot of old technology lights like halogen lights and fluorescent lights, and we were able to decrease our electricity bill. Even though we improved the lighting, everybody thought the lighting was better than before. Our electricity bill went down by $1,200 a month. So at the end of 10 years, we should be about $150,000 ahead. So it can be a win-win situation. It is easy to do. And that's the certificate that I got, okay? And you don't have to have an inspector to come out. If you basically believe that you've done it and show a few pictures and describe on their website what you've done, you can get the certificate. That's the website that you need to go to. So hopefully you can take this home, because the Dark Sky Reserve we have on the Sunshine Coast now will only continue to be a Dark Sky Reserve if we can actually educate the rest of southeast Queensland to get on board with what we're doing. So anything you can do to help to spread the word is appreciated. Go on to Dark Sky International, darksky.org, and read all about dark sky pollution, or on to my organisation, the Australasian Dark Sky Alliance, and you can find out more about it. So, thank you for listening to me, and open to any questions you want to ask. Yes?
Is there any partnership with QBCC, for example, to make it as a license or something they use in the normal construction, just to go from the standard one we have now to a better one, like this?
So, did you say QPCC?
QBCC, yeah, is the regulator of the construction.
Yes, so they are bringing in dark sky codes. Federal government is pushing it very hard, that dark sky codes must come in, and there's a new Australian standard which actually talks about obtrusive outdoor lighting at night, which has become quite a weapon for people who kind of find that obtrusive lighting has been put in. There's now a standard that people must comply to and can be used kind of as a way of negotiating. Here in Queensland, we've got a couple of things. As part of this exercise, I was able to educate Energex, which supplies most of the non-street main road street lighting in Queensland, about dark sky lighting, and they are replacing all their street lights in Queensland with dark sky compliant Queensland by 2030. I've had a very close association with Andrew Powell here, who is the local state member for here. We've been working together on this project for 8 years. He's passionate about it, and the fact that he's now the Minister for Environment and for ecotourism is a little bit of a bonus we've got. So they've brought out an ecotourism project called Destination 2045, which is to promote ecotourism in Queensland. And the top thing on their agenda in that is to actually try and create dark sky reserves like we've done in Sunshine Coast right across Queensland. So there's a lot of activity occurring within the government, Queensland Parks and Wildlife Service, and that to actually take what we've done here in the Sunshine Coast as a statewide policy. So fingers crossed. Yep. Fluoros, well, you can actually put a cover on them. The way LEDs work, the answer is very easily yes. All right, so a white LED is actually not white. It's an optical illusion. A white LED is actually a blue LED, like you might see in a Christmas tree lights, and it shines through a phosphor coating, which converts some or most of that blue into other colours. And purely by manipulating the thickness and the chemical constituency in that phosphor coating, you can filter out more and more of the blue, which is the problem frequencies we're trying to get rid of. And over the last... So when LEDs came out, everybody thought this is new, wonderful, fancy, and we've all got to do this. Until we kind of felt, yeah, maybe this wasn't a great idea. It's like the early days of Lycra. You know, we kind of didn't quite get it right, did we? All right, now we've kind of toned it down to where it should be. The beauty of the LEDs that have come out in the last few years is that they've got rid of more and more of the blue while still retaining normal colour recognition by us. So what we call the colour rendition index is still very high. So we can get rid of most of the blue. Even though it's quite an orange light, we can still see colours. So in terms of perceiving people's faces, seeing objects, being able to make a colour difference, we're getting rid of a lot of the blue. So the problem with the early era LEDs is they just last so long. So we've got to actually say, whoops, that was a mistake, take them out and put them in. So if you look at the toilet lights around here, they are actually very blue-rich lights. Now, I don't know, but a lot of the LEDs like those actually have a switch inside them. So you can simply switch them from blue-rich, which is called either daylight or cold white, to warm white, which brings in a different set of LEDs within the same light fitting with a much lower blue content. So a lot of lights do have that switchable thing in them. Otherwise, you've just got to order lights that are 3,000 Kelvin or less. Yeah?
You were saying that Brisbane will be the brightest city on the subject. Is that now?
Now. So it's a bit of a photo finish, pardon the pun, between Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. But I've been measuring in all three capital cities, and I've been following closely the satellite stuff there, and Brisbane has probably just got a nose in front as being the most light polluted city in the Southern Hemisphere. And I hope there's nobody from Brisbane City Council here, they really are on a mindset of bright is beautiful. And a lot of their street lights are very blue rich, much more so than a lot of other places. We can do it really well. If you want to see great street lighting, some of the best street lighting in the world is actually in the Caloundra South, the Aura development, around Narimba, etc. That was designed by Sunshine Coast Council back in 2018. When you drive into there, at first it seems quite orange, but when you get out of the car and just give your eyes a minute or so to adjust to it, you don't see that much of the orange. It actually becomes really pleasant on the eyes, and you can see into the shadows where the light doesn't reach because your night vision is coming back, even though you're under street lights. So is
street lighting the biggest?
Street lighting is the biggest single problem in here. My biggest challenge at the moment is Department of Transport and Main Roads, who love the blue-rich lighting. So things like the Caloundra interchange and all that area is a significant contributor to coastal light pollution. So one of the things that they are doing about it, they don't want to replace all the lights, but they're actually putting timing onto a lot of the freeway lights this year, so that as traffic density decreases during the night, they'll actually dim the lights down. And that will make a big difference. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Often I've found over the years the only way to really change opinions is if you can prove that it will save them money and be better for their health. Does
Yep.
this website have that kind of data, or is it?
Yes, I mean, if you go to Dark Sky International, it goes on for pages of all the stuff, and lots of references that you will find there. So I was able to save so much money in our building because we had the old halogen lights and the old fluorescent lights, which use about 3 times as much electricity for the same amount of brightness as an LED. If you're going from LEDs to LEDs, you're probably not going to get the money saving if you've already kind of gone to the wrong LEDs and you're just switching over to the right, where you're just going to say, well, that's the price for doing the right thing. But if you've got the old technology lighting like mercury vapour or fluoros and that, you'll actually save money. This one?
What about the safety aspect? If humans can see better in orange light, can't you argue that blue light is?
Well, there are stacks of scientific papers to that effect. Transport and Main Roads actually went to Queensland University of Technology and said, we like these blue-rich lights, we think they're safer for pedestrians, etc., etc. So QUT actually tested it and came back and said, no, it doesn't make a difference. and they've kind of quashed that result down. But it is out there that, yeah. So the brightness does help with kind of how many metres that you can see a pedestrian or in your car, but the colour doesn't. Okay, so particularly like going all of these blue rich LED headlights, possibly more helpfully in a single motor vehicle versus kangaroo accident, but the big data out of the United States has shown it may be better for that driver, but it's more than offset by the increased motor vehicle accidents of the other driver coming the other way. So it's not achieving anything. Yeah. It is not officially dark sky. I've had a lot to do with Bunya Mountains. It is one of the best places to be, and there is quite a movement up there to have more dark sky, and it's actually, it has more Dark Sky International certified dark sky buildings than anywhere else in Australia. There's kind of two thoughts up there. There's half the people who think it's fantastic, and then the half the people who kind of own rental places up there are not that keen about it becoming a dark sky place because they think that all these astronomers with their telescopes are going to plonk on their front lawn out of the blue. I mean, literally, this is what they have said to me when I've talked to them about it. The other problem is that there's a council boundary goes right through the middle of the ridge. So you're trying to deal with two councils. But fortunately, it's not too late for the Bunyas because there isn't that much in the way of streetlights or anything up there anyway. By 2030. Yeah. That's if you have a light that is glary into your house, you can definitely apply to Energex. There is a process to actually get shields put on that. You may have to contribute to the cost of that shield, but we're only talking, at most a couple of $100. But under this new standard, 4282, if you declare that you have a street light glaring in your bedroom or whatever, they're obliged to actually do something about it in cooperation with you. Okay, all right. So just a reminder, 7:45, if you're interested in possibly laser or possibly learning something weird and wonderful about the solar system, 7:45 over the Crafty Tent is where I'll be tonight. And thank you for listening.